Okay. Everybody can hear me? So first, thank you for those who came here to have a quiet lunch. And so thank you to those who came to listen to what I have to say. I hope both of those people will be happy after that. So my university got refused, so now it's a quickie. There will be less comments, but it will be a bit fast for me, for a bit long. It will be a longie for me. Done with the slides. Okay, so I'm going to cheat a little bit. I have a script that's going to feed me the next comments, and I copy paste, because otherwise I'm going to mistype, and it's going to be very short. Okay, so if you are already Linux expert, it's likely that you already know everything I'm going to talk about. Okay. Next comment. So in order to build this next comment thingy, I just used head, that you may know about, which allows you to get the head of a file with a number of lines, such as this, which gave me head. It's a bit redundant. Can you see? Well, it's good enough? Okay. Next comment is tail. Well, tail allows you to have, most likely you use it with -f in order to tail a file, as usually we do for logs. But you can also say, I want all the lines except the first one. So from line 2. Oh, didn't copy the last bit of it. Okay. This will list all the remaining part of the file. So what I'm doing is I'm piping everything left in the file into a new file, and then it gives me the next comment. So it's just to give you the mechanics of what I'm doing currently. Next comment, it just cats everything and gives the word count, and the word count with -l gives me the number of lines left in the file. So I have 58 comments left to show you, including that one. Okay, I'm not going to show you that one, but I used also, in this case, because I'm on a Mac, that's bad, I use pbcopy, pppaste, but you can use also Excel or Xclip, which do the same thing, meaning that you can pipe any output from a command or the input to a command into the clipboard, and then from the clipboard, which can be very convenient and will be very useful for me in that case. So, next command, env. Env is going to show you the environment for the given shell. So when you have a shell launched, it's going to give you some of the parameters that launch the given shell. Okay. Starting very basic, obviously. Set is going to give you all the other environment variables that are set in the current launch of the shell. Very basic. I think you most likely already know that. Clear is one of my favorites. It just clears the screen. Okay. Okay. If you want to know what kind of Linux OS you're on, the most reliable way I found that works almost everywhere is to cat or more etc/*release, because the names of the files are changing a lot in between distributions. So in that case, it's CentOS, and to be more precise, it's a CentOS Docker container. Okay, next one. That one, cat proc CPU info, or the one that's here, is going to give you information about the processors. Can be very interesting if you want to know precisely what kind of hardware you're running on, if you have just been given information about, you've been connecting to a VM, for example, and you don't know what exactly it has. It has 2 processors, and you can have more information about that. Same for memory. In that case, I'm grepping mem in order to have the 3 metrics we usually like, which you can also have using free, which is, in fact, the next command. So I don't have to type it. Free, the -h option gives you a human-readable format. It happens in many commands in Linux. You have -h. It can have another meaning in some commands, but usually you can be found that in between both of them, it's more readable above, except for some people. You have to know that it also rounds up. If you, for example, do it on gigabytes, you're going to lose a bit of information, obviously. Okay. Next command, uname. Uname is particularly helpful if you want to know on what kernel you are. There are other ways to know that. It gives a lot of info when you use it with -a, which is all parameter. It gives you a lot of not very useful information for most people, and mostly it doesn't give you anything about the current distribution. So this is why more etc-*release is useful. dmessage is going to give you a lot of information about the bootstrap of the kernel. And once again, I'm still typing it, whereas I don't need it. The -h capital is very useful option when available. It's not available everywhere because it gives you a more like and formatted with colors version of the bootstrap, so you can just browse through it and see all the information about the bootstrap of your VM or machine or hardware or anything, or laptop. So when you have issues with drivers or whatever, just go to there first, or in your valid messages or such. Okay, clear, my preferred one. Pushd, popd, very useful commands, very simple. Exists also in DOS command, so it's quite universal. And I've seen many people not knowing about it even when they are experts, which is weird. And it just creates a stack of folders when you have to, for example, go and edit something in etc, then something in var, and then pop back to where you were without having to know the path or remember the path from where you were. So for example, in that case, I'm going to push into etc and then to var, and you see that it's just outputs the stack of where you are. If I just use pwd path to working directory, it says I'm currently in var, and then I can just use popd twice to just go back to where I was first. This is a Docker container. I'm in / I'm root user. It's bad. Don't use that. Okay. Locate db. I guess this is a mistyping. This is mistyping. There had to be at least one error. So locate is a command that allows you to search an index database that's generated on your system of files. For example, if I want to locate something code with switch in it, it's going to give me some files. It's very quick, a lot quicker than find, for example, but the database has to be updated. In order to do that, you have to run the next one, which is update db. I commented it. It's a bit long to generate sometimes, so I won't do it now because I have little time left. But know it, if you want to use locate, which is convenient, you have to update db regularly. Usually it's done through cron, maybe every night, maybe something like that. If you want to use it I never get it. If you want an instant use of it, update it with update db. Find, I guess everybody knows find. You can find where you are, you can find etc. Oh, this way. So this gets me all the files in etc. I can obviously scope it by saying anything conf. Okay, and then some people like me usually do something like that, where you just look in etc and then you grep for something such as net masks inside of etc. So the second argument exec, when you see the braces, it's just to replace it with the result of find. So it's going to launch grep net masks on every file. The problem is that it forks something for every file it finds. Okay, so it's not very efficient. In that case, it's not going to work out very much because I think I didn't do it on files. One other mistyping, that's twice now. Okay, that's better. A better way to do that is to use a nice option of grep, which allows to recursively look into files and find and highlight things into file using a pattern with -e. And it looks a lot better, and it works a lot better because it doesn't fork for every file or something to search. Man. Who doesn't know man? I'm not going to see you, so don't bother. Well, man is just something to look for the manual of a command, such as man grep, to find out what other options grep has, which is a lot. Man is useful, but some commands may not appear into it. If you try to man pubd, for example, it's going to say, oh, I don't have anything about that. That's because some of the basic commands of shells and system are accessible through help. And if you do help pubd, then you get the help for pubd. If you want to know everything that's covered by help, you just type help. Okay. I think I have to go a bit quicker. Apropos, to say it as a French, I am. Apropos. So apropos search is going to give you all the man entries that have search inside of it. Okay? It's going to be very convenient when you don't know exactly what you're looking for. You're looking for something to search, it's going to give you grep and many other stuff. It's very useful. Switching to something completely different is going to happen a lot. df-h is going to give you the space on various mounted devices and so on. So if you want to know the available space somewhere, notice the -h option in order not to have it this way. Okay. DU is multiple options. This DU is disk usage. I like that one because it's quite simple. It just says the DU -h human, S you just summarize, and then you do you use the format with megabytes, and then you just sort it. So at the end, you know the folders that have the most content. There are other ways to do that, but it's one that's convenient and available almost everywhere. PS3 is nice. If I didn't forget to install it, because it's not all these commands are straight away there. I have a very little PS3 because I'm in a Docker container. So basically, it's Bash and PS3. If I do it in Mac, I'm going to have a lot more stuff, obviously. PS3 is nice because it's really visual. There are many other options to just basic PS. I could do a 15 minutes presentation just on that, so I won't. Some commands I won't launch, so it makes me gain a bit of time. LVM is going to be not very convenient to demonstrate in Docker. LVM has many commands. LVM is just an abstraction on volumes. So if you have physical disks, you want to create a virtual group of these disks and then split it differently. For example, you have two disks, one 20 gigabytes and another 40 gigabytes. You can then virtually split it into two 30 gigabytes logical volumes. So there are commands to create physical volumes, declare them. Commands to create the virtual group of 60 gigabytes. And then command to create logical volumes inside of it. And then you have commands to show you the physical volumes, virtual groups, and logical volumes. Then inside of that, you will want to create a file system. Or in Linux, usually it's makefs something, makefs x4 or something like that. Any file system you like, that's available, or you have to install something to just do it. And then you can extend the virtual group. So for example, you add a new disk, physical disk inside of that, you extend it, and then you can resize your logical volumes to get the new space, and then resize the file system is done through resize2fs. Demonstrating this could take at least all the 15 minutes I have, so not doing it. I'm going to have to go a lot faster. LV resize is resizing, already mentioned that one. Okay. Service is not available in Docker also. It's how to start and stop services inside of traditional Linux, Unix. Check config with the level you want to do it is how to make the service start up bootstrap again when the server starts again. The newer system is systemd. It's mostly used everywhere. There's also upstart in Ubuntu currently, but it's going to likely move to systemd also, but it's very much of a fight. And system control is the new command to do it. That you have to remember if you use to service is that you have to reverse the command and the service name in the order. Then there are many other things, but it's a simple thing to remember. systemcgls is going to list you, do like PS3 for the services, give you the tree of services of systemd. It's very useful. Well, yum, if you want to, for example, install Go, yum is the package installer for Red Hat related distribution. So it's going to do you the transaction and get you all the dependencies of Golang in that case. Okay, I'm not going to do that now. Not going to do that, I said. Then there's also the basic RPM command is not going to do dependencies for you, but it can be helpful in order to just get some basic information about a given package. For example, in that case, I get the metadata about wget, which I think most of you know or should know. In OpenSUSE and SUSE, it's going to be Zipper, which is a better equivalent to Yum. But it's almost similar, and it also uses RPMs as binaries. And in Ubuntu, I don't think I need to get a lot on that because most people know Ubuntu. So it's apt-get, apt-cache, and so on. The package is the behind the scenes, such as RPM is for Yum and Zipper. The package is the same thing for debs, and so apt-get. chroot intricated to demo is a command to change the route for a given program. So you can just run your program in a completely different route and make it impossible to affect your current system. So it's going to run as if root was in a given folder and it cannot access anything else. Good for tests. Diff -qr. I don't have any examples for that, so I don't have two files to do that. But it basically, oh yeah, I can do, well, it won't be very relevant. So diff has a lot of options. -qr is going to summarize all the files and which one were changed and not changed. Color diff is something useful if you can install it, because it colorizes the output, standardized diff output from anything that's not yet colorized, and you just pipe it in and it works. So for example, you do some diff something, pipe color diff, and it's colored. Ifconfig, I guess maybe you know that to know which IP you have or MAC address or so on. Oh, in that case, I didn't install it there. It's bad. But usually it's not in recent distros. What's available usually now is IP, which does a lot more things than IP, than ifconfig. But it can give you the IP address, but also the MAC address, and many more information. And also you can alter the IP configuration with that tool. Okay, I did that already. I typed it. Bad. LSOF is going to give you everything that open. In my containers, that's almost nothing in this context. It's very useful, LSOF, to know what file handlers are open. For example, on a JVM, you will see what jar files and so on are used, or DLL, even SO, if you are in whether you are in Windows or in Linux. Obviously, Windows, you're not going to see DLL in Linux. Cracklib check is a funny one I just discovered recently that allows you to have a feedback on whether your password is too simplistic or systematic. Guess if this one is. If you want to know the current TTY, you can use TTY. It's going to tell you which TTY you are in. The settings of the TTY can be useful if you want to debug some drivers and so on. So it's based on the fact that TTYs were usually something that you do on the network. Now you use also a lot of TTYs on the locally also. So if you do extern and so on. So there's a virtual speed in my TTY there. Okay, done that. chmode, don't have much time, not interesting. I think everybody knows about chmode. Same as su. So if you can do su minus, usually without any password, this means that you are already root, so you don't need to do it. Or you could be sudoer for that without password, which is irrelevant. Or if you can do the next one, usually it's a bad configured system. Somebody can do a sudo su minus. This means that EE is root also. It means that somebody gave you the right to have the right to do everything. Users is going to browse you which users are currently connected, which is in a Docker instance or none. Then a list of a few performance-related comments. I'm going to mention quickly because I don't have any more time. But I'll give you a pointer for that. strace is a very nice command to have a continuous trace of information about what's happening on a given process. And for example, in that case, with the option to see everything related to I/O, such as file and network, can be useful if you want to trace whatever an application server or a runtime is doing on the network. Same thing here with a summary of the times that was spent in which kind of operation, writes, and so on. VMstat, that one I can launch in that container with very little information, but still, it's there. I think you can also have information in that case, it's doing it, the -SM is not -H, but what it gives you is things in megabytes, whereas there it's not in megabytes. And then IOstat, which gives you a lot of information on I/O, and I cannot elaborate a lot more. You'd have to test it on a running real system and not on a container. MPstat, SAM, is a lot of information about performance, and I won't have the time yet to do it. So, next command 0, I'm finished. Just a reference. There's a very good, you don't have to go on SlideShare, look for a very good set of slides, Linux performance tools, which, if you are interested in the last few bits, is very, very much precise about the performance commands. Thank you very much.